Hi, this is Alec Gerbec with Yellow Dog. I'm the program director for the Indian Ocean. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about how to present flies to these different Seychelles species you're going to be encountering, as you might run into that trophy in the first 5 minutes of the first day and be like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And the guy didn't have time to teach you out there. So there's certainly a lot of ways to do it in a lot of different scenarios, and I'll do my best to kind of cover all those bases, but hopefully this will help you kind of set your mind to, okay, if I see this fish, this is how I present, and hopefully it works out for you. So first and foremost, honestly, is the bonefish. They are very abundant over there. Perhaps some of the best bone fishing in the world can be found in the Seychelles, and they're going to act very similar to a lot of different places around the world. What you should know is generally they're pretty happy, pretty gullible, but it's also nice to know what to expect with them. You can find them in a variety of scenarios, from single tailing fish in ankle deep water to big schools during a high tide where they're trying to kind of group together and stay away from the predators, to a classic dropping spring tide where they're filtering off the flats and you're just standing in one place picking them off one after the other. So in general, these bonefish, they're going to show some sort of directionality. So unless you found them tailing or in this school where they're just kind of rotating kind of randomly and staying in one place, typically they're going to be drawing a pretty nice line that's predictable for you. So it's not always a guaranteed, and that's the beauty of bonefish, is you're going to have a lot of shots. So if you mess up the first one, maybe you learn something from it, like, oh, they like this little dip, so they're actually going to turn a little left here and then go through that dip before carrying on. When presenting to a bonefish, certainly it's going to, you're going to need a decent cast. It's not going to be at your feet necessarily. So think about being able to make a shot at, 30 to 50, 60 feet. And, landing your fly in a soft manner so it doesn't spook them. So when I'm thinking about, I'm seeing a fish coming right at me and where I'm going to land that fly, I'm going to at least put probably 3 foot on that fish, knowing that he is going to be gliding towards where my fly is going to be going. Now, something to keep in mind, and the guides are going to help you kind of determine this, is the depth of water you're in, how much current there is, things like that, to determine the right fly and the right weight you have on that fly so it sinks properly in time. Yeah, I am going to make that shot out there at about 4 feet, and I'm going to give my first little tick. So once I've made my cast out there, I'm going to keep a really low rod tip almost touching the water. I don't want a rod tip that's up here and I'm creating this bow in my line that's going to essentially be slack while I'm trying to strip. It's a nice low rod tip, and I'm just going to give my first little tick. Hopefully now I'm going to see some sort of interaction from that fish. You're going to see a little twitch, change in direction, or a zoom straight over to my fly. At that point, this is like a lot of other fish that are predatory, is we're essentially trying to tease the cat with a piece of yarn. Where it is just far enough away where he is still enticed, but not too close to where he sees it and loses his interest. So I'm going to be matching his behavior. As he's coming, I'm just doing nice 6 to 8 inch long strips with slight little kind of pop stops because you're often fishing a little shrimp that are pretty jerky in the water. Now, I'm not talking like a really jerky, but just, a subtle stop to maybe make your fly jump and dip. At that point, I'm just matching his behavior. If he's coming in hot, I'm going to speed up a little bit. And now you're going to see him come in with a vengeance. And he's really going to come up and kind of flare his gills, maybe even like flick his tail a little bit. At that point, he's probably eating your fly. If you don't feel him right away, it's good to just keep stripping, because that's actually how you're going to set the hook, is a nice long strip set. And if he misses it, often he comes zooming after it because that little fly got away from him and he still wants to catch it. So we're going to strip set, and then as soon as we feel him, those things turn and burn really quickly. And now I've got a bunch of slack line that's sitting in the water here. So I'm going to spread my hands like this holding my fly line, this holding my rod, and I'm letting that line now feed through my fingers, through the rod as that fish is running, and I'm separating these two hands just so my fly line's not kind of wrapping itself around the reel or anything like that, and it's gonna clean out nicely out the rod tip. At that point, he's running, he's gonna go into your backing. Awesome, happy days. At that point now, I'm gonna, I'm lifting up my rod to a nice lower angle, and I am just letting the reel do the work. They're gonna be pretty erratic. They're gonna make huge runs back and forth, left and right, in and out. And again, just like try to stay away from the stripping because they're very quick to make a turn and then burn the other way. Let the reel do its work for you. At that point, you're just fighting the fish just like you have with any other species until you've gotten, let's say 10 feet of fly line out your rod tip. At that point, your guide is going to start now approaching the fish, and there's a good chance he's probably going to leader the fish as well. If he doesn't have a net with him because he was looking for, permit or triggers or something like that, he might just grab your leader, try to get his head up out of the water quick, and then turn him upside down. When you turn a bonefish upside down, they tend to wiggle a lot less. So this is a great opportunity to just quickly unhook him and then release him. So pretty straightforward with the bones. And yeah, you're gonna get a lot of shots. Now, when talking about that single fish or that schooling fish that's maybe doing a tighter circle, or maybe there's some other eyes on the job, they're facing a different direction, it's going to be a little bit of a trial and error where, you're going to want to land on the outskirts of this fish. Let's say we have a big school that's kind of facing all different directions. I'm going to first do a sample set just because I know that they're not moving and maybe they're a little aware because they're in that big school, hoping to stay away from predators. I'm about 5 foot away. I'm going to plop the fly as it's sinking into the column. I'm going to give that little twitch again, see if I get any reaction. If I don't, at that point, yeah, I'm incrementally just each cast kind of moving in. Now with this schooling, group of fish, again, they're very aware. So if he doesn't take within that first couple strips, I'm not ripping my line out of the water to make another cast. Often that rip will then spook the whole school, and then it's kind of game over for a little bit. So take the time to strip all the way in so you can subtly pull out and make that nice cast again out there. That's bonefish.